Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
Our fake moon landing.
India's moon landing, obviously another fake one. Who knows why wants to believe that they landed on the moon?
Why?
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम
India's fake moon landing is so bad that people are still making memes. Like a bad video game. Hashtag space is fake. Hashtag research flat earth.
Come on folks, this is a software generated real-time simulation, just like what we see in Google Maps.
India is also the first to land its Chandrayaan craft near the moon's south pole. Scientists believe this uncharted territory could hold vital reserves of frozen water, which can be used as fuel for future missions. Leroy Chow joins me now. He's a former NASA astronaut and former commander of the International Space Station. We're so happy to have you with us. So put this into perspective. How big of a deal is this?
Well, this is a pretty big deal. You know, India has been an up-and-coming space power, and they've had a number of successes over the years. They've developed sophisticated rocket engines and rockets. They're planning to try to put their first astronaut into orbit in the next year or two. And so coming along and actually landing a lander, only the fourth nation to do so on the surface of the moon, soft landing, and the first nation to put a lander down near the South Pole. Those are pretty big accomplishments.
Today, with the Chandrayaan-3 landing on the dark side of the moon, and the fact that India's Chandrayaan is successful where Russia's moon mission hasn't been, does that really change the perception of India in the world today?
In modern times, there's the subset of the Indian population who have risen in the scientific and technological world that have borne their brilliance in the rest of what's going on in the world. There's no shortage of Indians in the United States who are leaders in our tech world.
You see, the UK has never landed on the moon, and the frustration is bubbling over in rather ugly ways.
I would like to congratulate India on landing on the dark side of the moon. I would also like to now invite India to return the £2.3 billion foreign aid money that we sent them between 2016 and 2021.
This happened more than a decade ago. It was the year 2011. India's former president served as the finance minister at that time, Pranab Mukherjee, and he clearly mentioned that India does not need British aid.
I think the British taxpayer should keep hold of that, don't you? We should not be giving money to countries with a space programme. As a rule, if you can afford to fire a rocket at the dark side of the moon, you shouldn't be coming to us with your hand out. India reportedly has 229 million people living in poverty. According to the UN, it's the highest number anywhere in the world. It's also the fifth largest economy in the world, with an annual GDP of around $3.75 trillion. Why are we paying to help poverty-stricken Indians when their own government won't bother?
So I think in recent decades, no, Americans were not thinking of India as a place of snake charmers. No. Maybe 50 years ago, not today, all right? Some of our highest tech people have Indian roots. They may be American citizens, but they came from India, okay? And they're latter-day American citizens. So we know the potential of the Indian population here in the United States. That's my first point. Second is about the poverty. Yes, surely you have people there saying, why are we spending money up in space when we have such abject poverty here on Earth? That's a legitimate question to ask. But allow me to say that India had poverty before anyone spent a dime on space. Okay, so you can't look at space and say that's why you have poverty or you shouldn't have poverty because you have space. Those are false equivalencies. What I can tell you is if there's any hope of raising a nation out of poverty, it's investments in science and technology.
Absolutely.
Every place in the world where that has happened, the economy of that nation has risen. And the base level of who you call poor has risen. So India has a long way to go in that department, yes. But I know of no greater force than ambitions in space that can operate on the economy of a nation, because tomorrow's economies will pivot on innovations in science and technology today.
Some people were very happy on India's success, whereas some people were surely not. The success of Mission Chandrayaan-3 was the success of entire humanity. That's what the Prime Minister said during a conversation with the President of United Arab Emirates. Well, the Pragyan rover has already detected several elements near the lunar South Pole, while the biggest discovery is that of sulfur. It has also detected the presence of aluminium, chlorine, iron, chromium, titanium, manganese, silicon, and oxygen. I don't know if most of you remember or not, but it was Mission Chandrayaan-1 in the year 2008 that discovered the presence of water molecules on the moon for the first time. The ambitious Mission Chandrayaan-3 will probably end in the next 7 days, and after this successful lunar mission, India will shoot for the sun with its Aditya L1 on September 2 in this year. I'll try to bring up another updated video as soon as we receive further details. Till then, thank you. I really appreciate your time.